Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast here with Ola Prime. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Alexander from Berlin, who currently resides in Cyprus. Alexander, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Pleasure's all mine. Alexander, we're going to get straight into it. I'm sure the viewers would love to know a bit about your backstory, how you got into trading, how long you've been trading, stuff like that, basically.
I have been educating myself on trading for 8 years now. I started the journey without any trading background knowledge. So, yeah, it's 8 years in now, and I'm trading for a living for around about 4 to 5 years now. I developed my own strategy, my own unique systems, and my own strategic approach to the markets in the last years. So, yeah, this is my experience so far.
Amazing. So many years under the belt in trading. I can also tell from your setup in the background, definitely a trader. With the
Yeah,
artwork, it's really cool. You're gonna have to send me a link to that Jordan Belfort poster in the back there because that's awesome. I love it. Um,
yeah. Big fan, big fan. Like
Huge fan as
all
well.
those trading movies, they are just very nice. Like The Big Short, The
Yeah,
Wolf of Wall Street. Like I love it all. It's just it's an
motivational.
emotional thing, right? We have to keep emotions out of trading,
Yeah.
but when it comes to movies, we can really, yeah, let it all out, I would say, and be creative.
Amazing. Ah, absolutely. And what a story as well. But moving on. Okay, so you told us, you've been trading full time for 4 or 5 years or so. What kind of trader are you? Would you say you're more of a scalper, intraday, day trader, or swing trader? What kind of style do you currently have?
My strategy started being like by its own nature started to be one that is traded on the higher time frames, which means I would consider myself a swing trader. But I never looked at the terms like in specific that I said, oh, I need to be a swing. For me, it was just where do I feel comfortable? Because I think it's also a personality thing, right?
Yeah,
Like, if you trade on lower time frames, things are moving fast. And this is where I didn't feel very comfortable in the beginning when I started because I'm more like a person that is like analytical, systematic. So I'd like to have like a slower approach. I didn't like it when things went crazy. So for me, definitely it was a natural swing trading approach, and I kept it that way. Most of my trading opportunities are on those higher time frames, but I modified my strategy and you can adapt it in a way that you can also trade on lower time frames, such as the 15-minute, 10-minute, 5-minute time frame, even. But you need to be really there, and you need to be, when the opportunities happen, you need to also be glued to the chart for the next hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, until those setups unfold into your direction, it hits the target zones. Like you need to be there to react then. And sometimes things can get very messy when there is like economical events or something. But so it's adaptable also on lower time frames, as well as I have to say, like it can be traded on all time frames, on all assets as well. Like
wow.
yeah, you can adapt the strategy to crypto, to stocks, to forex, which is where I started. But definitely a swing trader, I would say. Yeah,
Awesome. We'll get into your strategy in a minute, but I have to just say, I absolutely agree. There's no right or wrong in what kind of trader you are, but it has to suit your personality.
yeah.
Like for me, swing trading, I just sucked at swing trading. I just couldn't do it. My personality just didn't vibe with it. Like
Yeah.
I just couldn't hold trades for even for hours. I struggled to hold them because I would constantly be
Wow.
checking the trade and I just couldn't relax. So for me, I gravitated more to the quick kind of style. So I definitely started looking more into scalping. And
Mm.
only when I started getting good at that, what I love is kind of just waking up, checking the charts, looking for kind of opportunities, and then coming back around this time in the UK around 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and then just go to like the S&P 500 and wait for that setup to occur, get in,
Yeah.
get out, and I'm done for the day. And that kind of, that's like me done. Do you see what I mean? Because I just,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
couldn't swing
mean,
trade.
I mean, m most probably, like everyone starts somewhere, right?
Yeah,
And then you get like these first feelings, like there are feelings of gut, I would say, like in the
yeah,
beginning. This does feel right, this doesn't. And especially on how much experience you make in the beginning, like if you find more success in the beginning being a scalper, then you most likely are going to stick with it. But I say why you chose scalping over swing trading, I would say it most probably must have been also the risk management approach. Because listen, like if I open up 10 lots on gold
yeah.
and I swing trade or scalp, it doesn't matter. I will be nervous because those numbers going up
Huge.
and down on my account balance, like let's say I have like 5K, 10 lots on gold, you can blow it in
Mm,
seconds. So you will be nervous regardless. You
yeah,
will be not comfortable doing anything, like just to give you that extreme, right? So, but if you lower that lot size to 0.01, for
oh
example,
yeah, yeah.
you would be comfortable letting that trade run for weeks,
That's
no
very
problem.
true. Very, very
Yeah,
true point.
but
Yeah,
then there's the patience component as well, right? So
yeah.
uh, maybe you're just not comfortable sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
me, I don't know. It was just my, like, for my personality. But this is the point, like I get a lot of traders as well, who say, should I be more swing trader, intraday? And I say there's really no right or wrong. It depends what gravitates towards you and what
Yeah.
you're naturally good at. If you're not the most patient, calm, analytical person, maybe swing trading isn't the best for you. But then at the same time, if you're like the gambling type, don't become a scalper because you will overtrade and lose all your money. You have to also have that kind of discipline. If you're going to scalp, to kind of make sure, look, I'm only going to get in one, maybe two trades, at one particular time frame around that time every day. Only if the setup occurs as well, of course. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I'm still not trading. Do you know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
every minute you're in and out, because no one can do that. That's insane. And I also like what you said about, it's kind of like a gut feeling, because it's very hard to almost teach. Like I use, for example, order flow, so the actual contracts with the CME data and stuff like that. And like I use like the depth of market and the footprint, and a lot of that is how it, in that second, watching the candle form, watching the orders come through, and you can't really, in hindsight, replay that back and teach it. You have to kind of just stare at the literally at the chart and watch it
Yeah.
in live, and you can't really teach that. Do you know what I mean? So I always say to like people who are quite new, one of the best ways to learn is just stare at the chart, and if you don't have the time, screen record it and watch it back. Put it into a video editing software and go frame by frame. Watch it back. Do you know what I mean? And see how the candle forms in
Mm.
real time rather than just how it closed. Um, and you kind of get that gut feeling, I think, comes from many years of just watching the charts. You kind of like, there's sometimes I'll be in a trade and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. But I couldn't tell you pinpoint exactly why. It just doesn't feel right, but something just spooks me in it and I get out. Sometimes I make the wrong decision. It does go my way. Other times I nailed it and, I saved myself from getting stopped out. Um, so yeah, gut feeling. It's something only with experience that comes, and you have to just put the time and effort, I would say.
Yeah, but also like not to, because maybe I said it in a wrong way. I mean, in the beginning, you
Mm,
start like getting these experiences as a beginner trader. You rely a lot on your gut feeling because you don't know what is right or wrong. This is what I mean.
yeah.
But once you have experience, now I try to eliminate all of the emotion. I don't have any emotions trading. I don't care if I'm in the red, if I'm in the blue. I just stick to my rule book religiously and I stick to my system and trust it. And I have built trust over all these years because I have seen the results and the markets always unfold in the same kind of patterns that repeat. So I have the trust that I put into my strategy, my rule book, my rules that are in place in order to put in as much risk as I want or how I feel suitable to operate in the markets. But you don't have that as a beginner. That's why you rely
Yeah.
more on the gut feeling. And I think that's a dangerous thing. But you need to, in the beginning, risk somehow and rely on your gut feeling in order to get that experience and get
Yeah.
this market understanding, deepen your market understanding to get the experience on how the market is moving. And yeah, that's the main thing. Like in the beginning, it's the gut feeling, but when you get this experience, I try to like eliminate all those things like gut feeling, not have emotions. And this is what I've been working on because I want to be very systematic about it. I don't want to
Yeah.
be like, oh, this time I feel like it, this time I don't. No, I'm very strategic in the approach and I stick to it. And I know you cannot lie to yourself, right? You know when you have not stick to those rules that you have set up.
Absolutely.
You know
Yeah.
exactly, you know that you lied to yourself and you were like, okay, like I'm gonna like this one is fine enough or is good enough. But if you lose, then you're like, yeah, you see, like you didn't stick to it fully. And why would you put in a trade when you won't bet the farm on it? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you put in money in the markets if you are not willing to bet the farm on it? Like,
Yeah.
this is what I don't understand now. Because some traders develop this kind of traderitis, I would say. I call it traderitis. It's like a sickness. Like, I need to make money now. I need to put in
Yes.
trades. If I don't put in trades, then I leave the day investing my time without making any money back for my time, which is it's a misconception of how trading works because
Yeah.
the market will present its market opportunities to you when it wants it to, not because you want it.
Yeah.
So sometimes, especially as a swing trader, you have to wait days or weeks for your trading setups to occur, especially those really nice ones, those
Yeah.
A plus setups. They occur very rarely, and you have to just wait it out and be patient. That's why I say like trading is basically 80% waiting and 20% trading. But if you tend to be a scalper,
Yeah.
right, you have way more opportunities because you are trading on those lower time frames, but you also have a way like your pip gain is
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
less, but you can have more trades. In the end, it all equals out.
Oh,
Like I,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Like we would have a higher lot size for because obviously the overall risk would be, you're not going to have a swing trade or stop loss on a scalp trade.
yes,
So your lot size would be a bit bigger, but like you said as well, you might wait, days, sometimes weeks for the really good setup. But I think a misconception a lot of beginners get into, and they get into scalpings because they believe that once you learn scalping, you can trade every second of the day, every minute, which is just completely false. Um, there really is, like in my strategy, there really is probably, I would say, 4 or 5 setups between maybe 2 or 3 instruments a day I would be willing to take. And then I really only kind of really wait for the best one. So maybe only 1 or 2 a day at most, which when you're thinking about, my average hold time within a trade is maybe 10, 15 minutes max, really isn't that much when you're looking at, a long day, right? But
mm-hmm.
that's again, like you said, discipline. A lot of it is just waiting. You have to be patient. You can't expect to predict the market in I hate the word predict, but you know what I mean? Can't expect to, get in the market every couple of minutes because you will end up over trading and you will just completely wipe it out. And that's why I say, if you're quite a gambling kind of quite the type of person who likes to gamble a bit, scalping definitely isn't for you because you will just break your fundamental rules and
Mm.
you know but
Yeah,
really interesting. What it shows is that really the core concepts of the psychological side of trading translates whether you're a position trader, swing trader, intraday, or scalper. The core concepts, the core psychological rules can never be broken. Like patience, waiting for the right setup. These things just cannot be broken, regardless of what type of trader you are. So that's really interesting, I think, for the viewers to kind of, kind of a little light bulb moment for some people, I guess. I do want to move on really quickly and talk a little bit about your strategy, obviously, whatever you're comfortable sharing with. But yeah, if you would like to just have a quick, chat about your strategy, go for it. That would be amazing to hear.
Well, my strategy is a swing trading approach in its core, first of all. But as I said, it can be adapted to any other asset and also be traded on any time frame. But it relies on momentum, first of all. Now, of course, there are certain key factors that you will hear everywhere: supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
Like when market dips down to demand or picks up to supply, like these are core fundamentals, like using like what the eye can see: supply and demand, support and resistance, this first of all. But then there's this really unique approach, and I have certain terms that I also developed over the years. I use momentum. So first of all, I like to trade trend reversals a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like to, like, sometimes it's not a trend reversal, but a trend correction at least, because
Mm-hmm.
what I noticed over all these years, and also in the beginning, the market moves in waves, and it
Yeah.
always needs to give back in order to push further if it wants to push further. It either is going to reverse completely, or it's going to give back a little at least, like a 23 Fibonacci, like a 38 Fibonacci, before it keeps on pushing in that direction further. It's never like it's going to just go up forever, because it's always supply and
Of
demand, and
course.
you have, because time is fractal and you have all these time frames, it's going to fill supply and demand also on those lower time frames. So
Yeah.
it's always going to correct an impulse wave. If you have an impulse wave, it always going to correct sooner or later. Like, you're going to see that. That's why you always have green candles and red candles,
Yeah.
because it's always balancing itself out. And you can capitalize on that. But I have certain rules. And one of these rules that I developed, the first thing is like buy to sell and sell to buy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that I noticed, that the banks, like because the institutions, the hedge funds, the banks, they are moving the markets with the algorithms. But
Yeah.
what you see on higher time frames, especially also on lower time frames, if it approaches like supply and demand zones, oftentimes before it reverses or wants to make a trend correction, there is like a
Oh, oh,
climax,
yeah.
or like a,
A trap.
like nowadays I see it a lot, like people call it liquidity grabs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had this term like already figured out for myself without hearing that term of liquidity grabs, because I don't have a financial background. Like buy to sell and sell to buy. I saw the market form like a kind of a range at the end of an impulse wave,
Mm-hmm.
then form a range, and then selling to buy in order to reverse that. Why do they do that? Because they catch all those people that have their stop losses in place, so
Yeah.
there's liquidity, and then they buy back in order to have the cheapest price, and they make this most of the time in a very fast manner, and then they reverse. But this is also a signal for me. It was a signal, like, where I saw, okay, if I have a buy to sell, a sell to buy, a liquidity grab, and then a slowdown of momentum, yeah, where it starts to, like, you don't want to catch the falling knife,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't want to stand in front of the train when it goes like 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So what I want to see that the train wants to change direction with the liquidity grab. Okay, we want to probably trend reverse, and then see the train slow down from 200 miles an hour to 100 to 0, and then
Yeah.
switch gears into that other direction. This is where I get in, like to get the idea of the strategy. This is,
Amazing.
and I have tools for that, obviously, where I've put in thousands of dollars to develop indicators, to see those trend reversals,
Yeah.
and to see when the market would slow down, and to see where those liquidity grabs are with very easy tools. And this is what I do. So this, like in its core, this is how my strategy works. And I also give that strategy out, like I will give it out completely for free in the next few months, because I'm going to launch the whole platform that I have built. I have built
Nice.
the Trader Friends community, and I'm going to launch on School with it. And we have been previously selling also courses, and the course was going for one-time payment of, like, I'm just going to say it out loud because it's
No,
not
no,
a
go for it. Go for it.
secret. On our official Trader Friends page, we sold the course for $1,499 or
Mhm.
euros, and people were buying it. It's a one-time fee, and people could also pay it in. They could pay it monthly,
Yeah.
but then they would get access to the whole entire strategy and all the indicators and dashboards and trading tools that I have been using myself. They would get access to it. But now we give that whole strategy for free on the School platform. It's just not finished yet. We are now launching on it because I think it's a great opportunity to build one of the largest communities in Europe, and this is like my goal now. Like I really want to do
Amazing.
this. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. And I can't stop smiling because, funnily enough, your strategy is exactly the same setup I trade.
oh, really?
You call it liquidity grab, or I can't remember the exact word you used. I call it a trap setup, and essentially it's the exact same thing. I'm looking at certain areas. I look for basically supply and demand areas. How I find those areas, I don't generally say out loud, but I have a specific way of finding very accurately where these areas are. And as price goes into it, there's two things I look for. I look for a very, let's say the market's dropping down and it's going to reverse and go up. I'm looking for a very heavy negative delta, right? So I'm looking for loads of sellers just coming into the market. The market pushes out, but
Hmm.
then the momentum just stops. And you can see it in the depth of market, crystal clear every time. It's such a beautiful setup because it's, a monkey could trade it. It's so beautifully crystal clear. Once you see those heavy, sellers or buyers, it doesn't matter if it's obviously going up, then buyers. If it's going down, sellers. But in this case, let's say sellers. You're looking for that heavy delta, loads of sellers getting trapped right in that area, and the market starts reversing ever so slightly. And then when you're looking at the orders on the order flow, you want to start seeing buyers enter as all those sellers who are trapped are now going, damn, it's reversing quickly. They're all trying
Hmm.
to get out, and you can see they're
Yeah.
all exiting, bang, bang. And then as soon as they all exit, boom, 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 the market just with zero pushback. It's like a train. It's not crazy, like just one massive candle, but it's just consistent, nice,
Yes.
good candles, just up, up, up,
Yes.
up, pure momentum, and it's just beautiful. And then I generally get out at the next sort of resistance level, or I look at the dome. How I get out really depends. It's quite fluid, but yeah, and it works pretty much 95% of the time. It's just such a beautiful
Okay,
setup.
that's crazy. Yeah, like also the thing with win rates, like if you say 90%,
Yeah,
95%,
yeah.
so there's always a correlation from win rate to risk to reward, right?
Mm, mm.
Like obviously, like you won't have a, like I assume, I don't know, but I assume you won't have a 1 to 10 a risk to reward
No,
if you have like a 95% win rate, right?
absolutely
So
not. Absolutely not.
yeah, because otherwise like you would be making multi-millions already sitting somewhere, I don't know. But this is the truth. But this is also the ugly truth,
Yeah.
because a lot of marketing people out there, they show all those YouTube videos, they clickbait people with, oh, I have, like, okay, I get it. Yeah, it's true. I win 95% of the trades. And it sounds so amazing, like I'm going to be a millionaire, right? But they don't know, like, okay,
No.
but then again, those risk to rewards, obviously, they are lower, and then you're probably scalping and all that. Like, it's always a correlation to that. And then again, it's all up to personality. How do you like it? Like, if you would look at my win rate, I trade in trade sequences.
Mm, mm,
And because I trade sequences and I also hedge, I do not use stop loss. I use counter positions
hmm
to protect my trade sequence. And then again, I DCA into it, but I hedge at the same time,
Yeah.
which means I basically have 100% win rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes I'm stuck in a trade for longer because I need to rebuy. I need to rebuy into that wave.
Yeah.
And sometimes I rebuy 3 times, 5 times, and then I even make money sometimes in both directions.
hmm
So that's also an approach because I'm at the very end of that impulse wave that is like in need to correct. And even if it doesn't, it sooner or later will, and most probably sooner because I'm buying at a very extreme or I'm selling at a very extreme. And I'm looking on those higher time frames most of the time. But it always happens. Like it's because the market moves in waves and it has to just give away, give back before moving on into that direction, or it's going to trend reverse. Like this is how I got an example last year on the GBP CAD. And it was absolutely insane. Like it
Mm,
was 38,000 euros in the
hmm
profit.
Wow.
And it was a trade sequence. I was stuck in that trade for two to 3 weeks
Wow.
and I had multiple positions, but that trade was insane. Like
Yeah.
I made like 900 pips clean in that
Wow.
first impulse wave, and then I said, you know what? Like it has so much power, so much pressure into that direction. It hit that weekly trend line where I had my last targets, and then I said I'm gonna let like 10% run, and then it exceeded, like it went like 1,200 pips even, and
Wow.
that's insane, you know.
That's
And
mad.
yeah, but obviously, if I'm going for those kind of pips, I
Yeah.
also have larger stop losses if I trade on those higher time frames. And now again, I could say I could make a marketing video and say this is how easy you can make 1,200 pips.
Of course.
Those
Yeah.
trading setups, come on, like they
Yeah.
occur maybe once a year, maybe once every second year. So it's a very rare thing. But people make these experiences and they use it to clickbait people and catch them just to like sell their course. I'm not that type of a person, you know. I built the education because I was a teacher before.
Yeah.
I was a teacher before in Berlin, Germany.
Very
And
nice.
I was teaching people ethics, philosophy,
Mm.
also economy, but ethics, moral. And then
Yeah.
I tapped into trading. Like most people would say, well, that's the complete opposite. Like, how can you have morals if you're that finance guy? If you're sitting there in a suit, that slimy suit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, to me, it's I'm full of contrasts. I think it all depends on how your approach is. It all depends how your approach is. I don't like those marketing things, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, people react to that. People react to that, and it is what it is. So
I wouldn't say there's anything immoral about being a trader. I can understand some people probably get misunderstand, being financed. They just place everyone in the same boat.
yeah,
We're not the ones who caused the financial crash in 2008. We didn't, lend money to people who couldn't afford the loans, and we did. Traders and investment bankers, so to speak, are kind of two separate people. And I'm not saying investment bankers are bad here, by the way. Of course not. But I can understand how some people might see, oh, there's an ethical side to it, sure. But yeah, no, in forex trading, I don't think there's really an ethical question, so to speak. You could argue, I mean, it's a zero-sum game. Technically, if you're winning, someone out there is losing, so to speak. because there's two sides to every trade. But that's a story. That's a conversation for another day. I think the ethics
Definitely,
and
yeah.
morality of trading. But really interesting. And no, I absolutely agree with what you said. Percentage win rate is not, can be misleading, so to speak. And when I say, 95, I'm not saying I have a 95% win rate because I'm not
Mm.
perfect. I still, I'm a human being. I still make stupid decisions, impulse decisions, and break my own rules. But that particular setup, if it occurs, I rarely see it fail. A lot of the time, I miss it. I'll be honest. I'm just
Yeah.
not.
Eh,
Scalping is quick. I missed the setup, and all
yes.
right, fine. It is what it is. Um, it's not perfect. It's interesting how your strategy is basically very similar to mine. Um, we're just doing it on different time frames. But the market, I've noticed as well, even if you go down to the tiniest, on trading, you can do like 1 second view. I would never recommend trading that. That's insane. But the market still has the same structure, so to speak. It's a bit more choppy, obviously, on lower time frames, but you can still see that the market is just, whether it's a high time frame or low time frame, they mimic each other. It's
Yeah.
all just it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but I think you understand what I mean.
Definitely, like the thing is why I dislike scalping the most, it's not the fact that it's so fast, because now I feel
Yeah.
very confident. And I also trade sometimes, as I said, like on M30, on M15, I go down on M5. You can
Mm.
really snipe entries. Like you will have better entries the lower you go if your rules align. But the problem with it is if I find like a trade for my strategy on, let's say, a M5 or
Hmm.
M1, I can find. I can find those multiple times a day
Yeah.
because I have dashboards that will scan all of the pairs at the same time in my
Very
market
nice.
watch. Like most of the time, I just put in like 20 to 30 pairs
Yeah.
that don't have too crazy spreads because also trading conditions are important. But if you look at all those pairs at the same time, you will find on those lower time frames every day like an opportunity. The problem is the market is so disgusting in placing those traps and and having tricks up their sleeve. It's like they're gonna range there until the end of the day and then make the move of the market open after midnight.
Yeah.
But on those lower time frames, like it's gonna range all the time. Like in the
Yeah.
evening, it's gonna just range there, and you think, yeah, okay, it doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Volume slowed down, and then it approaches midnight, and then it opens at midnight, and then it drops instantly into your target zone. And you're like, I cannot even close that trade because that spread is so wide, and then it reverses on you. And I'm like, no, no, fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I
this is what I
100%.
hate.
Yeah.
This is the problem. Why because they do those tricks a lot.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it happens all the time, and that's why you have to be extremely disciplined. Again, like I said, I only trade at a certain time. Between
Yeah.
one to once it gets to like 3 o'clock, I'm not looking for opportunities. I'm sure there are, and there are still opportunities, and theoretically I could still trade it, but the chances of me being successful in those trades start dropping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really
Yes.
only in that golden window for me where I'm looking for that
Yeah, that's perfect. Hmm.
and if nothing is there that day, I don't trade. Even as a scalper, I don't open a single trade, which a lot of people are like, but you should be trading all the time. No, like one or two setups a day at
Yes.
most.
That's so true. That's so true. Now, and this is the big difference, and that's so true. I would agree with everything you said because that's the main kicker. Like if you scalp, you have to have that time window
Yeah.
where you are trading, and you are most of the time giving it like. You also don't want to, like, why would you trade and have another job sitting there in front of the charts like a chart slave
Yeah.
and at work for the next 10 hours? First of all, it won't work because of the trading conditions. They change
Yes.
during the day all the time. And that's why you can't trade after midnight and scalp.
No, definitely not.
right? And
Definitely not.
this, that's just the truth. So also, if there's like news, sometimes they are going crazy, right?
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
also news, they go like out of control, and you have like a corona drop or something, or you have like some the chairman speaks,
Yeah.
right? So this is again where you have like those super rare events occur, or you have like NFP and then it goes crazy on you because it
Yeah.
aligns with the economy and then it goes into the complete other direction. And this is also where scalping is very
Hmm.
dangerous, and you need to have your time window and your stop losses in place and all that. So it all comes down to discipline.
Yeah.
Now it's not that you don't have these dangers on the higher time frames. It's just that you have way more breathing room for error, and you can react. Like, I can react to the chart. I just glimpse at the chart for a few minutes a day,
Yeah.
and I can react to it. Or I look at the 4 hourly candle and the closure of it like half an hour before, and then I will know how it will close. If I'm looking at my special candlesticks, because I look at Japanese candlesticks, a
Hmm.
modified version of Heikinashi.
Hmm.
So I can then predict how that candle is going to close if there's not an NFP or something. But this is where I can readjust my trading style and say, I'm just going to look at those next 3 4 hour candles and just glimpse at them for 3 minutes, and then I know what to do. And that's
Wow.
it. So I trade like 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day, and that's it.
Amazing.
And I'm
That's
done.
amazing.
And I just know, yeah. And if I'm in a trade, and let's say I have like two trade sequences running, just like I have now,
Hmm.
on the let me just check. I am in the GBP USD, for
Hmm.
example. I'm in a 200 pips profit,
Wow.
and I do nothing. Like, I just wait basically for it to hit the target zones if I'm in profit. If I'm not in profit, I wait to DCA and I just protect my position with a hedge. And then I'm gonna DCA with another position to double the size, right? Like, I'm not gonna martingale in it, but
No,
I'm
no.
gonna buy in myself again when the time is right and when those rules align with my strategy, in order to get another cheap price there.
Hmm.
Because in the end, people overcomplicate trading so much. Like, yes, you can be successful with a lot of strategies. I believe there are a lot of traders that have strategies that work,
Yes.
but 99% of traders that have strategies don't are not they are
They're
not
not
working.
following it.
Or
They're breaking
90%,
the
I would
rules.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because first of all, people think, why would I pay $1,000 for a course, or $5,000 or $10,000 for a course or for a coaching if I can have all of that for free? First of all, you won't. Like, let's be honest. We need to be honest here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I'm making 10,000 euros a month or 20K a month with trading, I won't sell myself short and sell a coaching for $399, and I'm going to teach you for 1 month in 20 sessions. Like, that's ridiculous. Nobody would do that.
Of course. Yeah.
So people are ridiculous when it comes to this. So they think they can, you won't find really a very good strategy from a trader that put in blood, sweat, and tears over the last years, 5 years, 10 years, and he will give it out for you completely for free on YouTube and give you all the tools. There's always something.
Yes.
He's maybe
Absolutely.
upselling you on a higher priced, maybe a coaching, maybe there's like a tool you can only use if you will upgrade or you will pay like something more. It's just like that. And if you want it for free, yes, you can find where the RSI is crossing that moving average, and then you're gonna buy. Like, come on, guys, those things don't work.
Yeah.
You will maybe break even, but in the end, they won't work if all those indicators are out there for free.
Yeah.
You need to have like a unique approach to the markets. If everyone is doing that, trust me, those algorithms, they will find out because they are programmed to find out.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
have
I
an
mean,
edge against
I
retailers.
if the majority of retail traders lose, and you're doing what the majority of retail traders are doing, are you, how are you going to consistently win? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, the
That,
institutions, they know this. They're kind of hoping you're going to start buying once price breaks through the EMA or the 20-point EMA or whatever. Do you see what I mean? Whatever basic retail strategy there is. Um, because they know that's where your stops are.
yeah.
They're not just gonna. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, it does just go, and the retail strategy worked perfectly. But you're cherry picking, very few examples. But you're absolutely right. There's education is truly important, and if you really want good education, you have to go to someone who actually knows what they're doing and value
And
their
you,
time, and you can't just expect some basic YouTube video that's just trying to get you to I don't know, either get views so they can get ad revenue, or like you
yeah,
said,
like people
upsell you
don't
into a
see it.
course.
They think
Yeah.
it's free. No, the guy put in the time in order to give it to you for free, but he doesn't care because he can make 200 videos
Yeah.
with 200 different strategies that are just out there for free. This line is crossing this line.
Yeah.
This is when this happens. Like when this candle closes and engulfs this candle, you have to buy. Like it's just
No.
ridiculous. Like though, like everyone has an intention. He's not just gonna make this video completely for free, not make any money with it, and give it out to you the complete strategy for free. Like we need to be real because people don't understand. Like if you are in the real world, you understand that. If you want to become a lawyer, you need to put in 10 years of your life until you will
Oh,
get that good job and make 5, 10,000 euros a month.
yeah.
But you've invested 10 years of your life into education. You have been studying this like crazy, and you need to be really good to get that good job and later on be hired.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you've put in 10 years, and people come here trading. I'm going to figure it out in 2 months because I've put in 3 trades and then they went great. I made like a 40% return. I'm going to be rich. No, they already calculate how they are going to be rich until the end of the year. It's ridiculous. The market is going to show you who's the boss,
Yeah.
and it's going to happen. You're going to
Yeah.
get cocky. You're going to blow that account, and like you're going to see it. But people always are confident based on their subjective experience. They have put in their first 7 trades there, they run green and they think they will conquer the world, but the
Oh, yeah.
market is always going to humble you.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you might have that strategy right now, but you don't have market understanding, and the market has so many tricks up their sleeves. You need to first learn how they set up those traps and get through them in order to know how to react to them.
Hmm.
The managing of the trades is also another thing, like
Oh, of
it's,
course. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, 3 words: Dunning Krueger effect. That's what new traders fall, and everyone falls for it. It's when you overperceive your ability when you're new to something. You see it all the time. You see it in every industry, not just trading, but trading specifically gets it a lot. New traders think they're expert traders because they've won a few trades or whatever, massively overestimate their ability, and then, like you said, quickly get humbled at some point. You even see it in, online, if a boxer or an MMA fight or something like that, and then people will be like, "Oh, I could beat this boxer up." You just couldn't. You've never stepped in
Yeah.
a boxing ring. You just couldn't.
That's how
Like,
that's how ridiculous it is. That's that's how ridiculous it is,
yeah,
like people really have these perceptions, and uh it's up to some people that have more experience to humble those people down, because you can have an impact on people, a positive one. And I think
absolutely.
what you are doing is really great because you get the raw opinion of people that have been there
Yeah,
for years. I think that's very valuable because most people, they don't have this kind of
yes,
experience and they are very naive to what it is. But you have to just think about it clearly. If somebody that wants to be a lawyer or a doctor is putting in 10 years of their life to make a 5K, 10K, 7K monthly,
Hmm.
but first have to put in 10 years, you're not going to just come here and become a trader. And in 2 months, you're going to learn it. And after 4 months, you're going to make 10K a month
Yeah.
and you're done and you can quit your job. That's a ridiculous thought. That's not how the world works. Because
Yeah.
if it would be like that, then like everyone would be trading. And second of all, if you believe all those traders that have like, because I also post my trade of the day, and I show this is how much I made on my trade of the day, right? And then I show the trade, how I executed it, and how nice the entry is, and all that. Yeah, that's nice. But if that would happen every day, obviously I would also be a multimillionaire by now.
Of
But
course.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I have 5 digit, 6 digit accounts, but you have to understand like those things that you also see at first, people have strange opinion. They think it's like a job, like, oh, he made 3K today. If I make 3K today or just half of it every day, then I'm more than happy, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like this is not how trading works. It's not
No.
gonna give you a salary on a silver platter on a daily basis from Monday till Friday. It's gonna maybe give you 3K this week, but next week you're gonna lose maybe 1K,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna make 700 euros the third week, and then you're gonna make 5K the fourth. Yeah,
Yeah.
great, but you cannot take that 1 week or 1 day as an example and then calculate all those days up to calculate your salary and
Hmm.
then how you're gonna quit your job. That's ridiculous. Again, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of the problem with social media, you have, I would say a lot of these, Instagram traders or whatever you want to call them, people I don't even think are actually really traders. They're more just shelling some sort of, I don't know, course or signal provider or something. That's how they make the real money. But, and they post these results, which are, I'm not even lying to you. I once saw someone post a result where they were up in a current trade, up something like 700 million, and people were believing it. In the comments, people were like, wow, teach. And I'm thinking, guys, you can't even execute those kind of numbers on a retail platform. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I
there's
mean,
no broker that will allow you that kind of liquid. It just does, like you're insane. No one is up 700 million on MT4. You know what I
it
mean?
can be 700 million apples.
But they
Like,
post this stuff and people believe it,
yeah,
and then they'll start trading. And then, they might put in $500, for example. It's quite a normal beginner number, right? And they might win or make like $10 in a trade, and they'll feel terrible about it. And I'm thinking, 1 second, $10 is actually a very good gain for a $500 account. You're going to look at the percentages. The S&P 500 does what, 6 to 10% lucky a year, and that's considered a very stable investment. If you're doing, a few percent a week, and you could do that consistently, you are doing better than the majority of traders out there. Do not get sucked into this idea that you're going to have a Lamborghini by next month. You're going to make, $700 million trade. Just focus on the wins, consistent wins. Start compounding, but also don't be afraid to take out some of your money. Don't compound 100% of your money. You need to take some of those rewards out, and
yeah,
just take your time with it. You'll be much further ahead if you're patient and step by step process in 1 year than if you're just trying to gamble it all in one big trade. But you can tell a beginner that a million times. They will only learn it once they've made the mistake and it hit, like you said, the market humbles them. Only then do they realize, damn, yeah, I probably should
I
have.
mean, when it comes to marketing, there's so many tricks. It's ridiculous. Like, not only those screenshots, but like if you just open up, you find a broker that will allow you to open up the account not with a currency of euros.
Mhm.
With your account balance will not be in euros displayed, not in dollars, but in South African rand.
Yeah, yeah, so,
Well, 100,000 South African rand are 5K euro.
yeah,
So you put in 10k euro, and you have 200k on that account, and then you're gonna show those big trades. And
Very
that's
true.
just one example. There are other currencies. If you can just put in whatever currency, you can go with some, I don't know, another African currency or some Asian currency where you have like basically 2 million, but in real you have like 1k euros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I'm not even talking because people are doing those things because they have figured out people are more clever now. If you then put it onto your MyFX book and show your statistic, well, it's a demo account, right?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, it's real. It says real. Yeah, but what currency? Well, like, you're not going to talk about that. Okay.
Spot on.
Like,
Yeah.
even I saw the craziest stuff. Like, you probably also saw that. I don't even want to bash people and talk about it. But there are some really nasty scammers that are
Yeah,
highly successful, and they're so nasty. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous seeing those people exposed up to a point where I thought, yeah, this guy must be legit. Like, I'm not gonna buy his course now, but but he must, like, it all
yeah,
looks so legit. And if he can even back it up with buying a Lamborghini and
yeah.
buying villas everywhere, like, come on, like there must be some truth to it that he must be profitable, right? But then again, you find out those things that those people that do those YouTube videos with exposing people, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like I don't believe what I see there. Like, really?
Very sophisticated with the marketers, they've really figured out how to get people, how to trick people, even like you said, no one's saying they don't have money, but I doubt their money came from the markets. Their money came from selling you some signal group or whatever, at $100 a month, and they got 100,000 people in that group, and they're just stealing
Yeah,
signals from someone else, But
yeah,
they got the money, but this is not trading. And like you said, with the currency, they can easily fake that. I'm sure some people just open two accounts. They just hedge positions, one buy, one sell. One of them's going to be right in the next week. You know what I mean? And then they'll show the good one. Like
yeah.
it's
That's
very
another
easy
thing.
to kind of just play around and make things up and make it look like you're super successful when sadly you're not. But this is why beginners need to be cautious. They need to have the expectations at a realistic level. All right, like anyone trying to sell you the dream in terms of like Lamborghinis and flashy stuff. Like I'm not saying is of course if you're a successful trader you can absolutely have a Lamborghini, but that's not the point of it. You've got to focus first not on the material stuff, not even on the dollar amount you're making or the euro amount you're making, but just the percentages, just getting consistent. Can you do um, a decent risk reward ratio with an okay win rate, and can you just consistently copy those, not copy, but produce those results? Can you have an equity curve that is going up rather than like up and then crashes down, or like, of course there's
Mhm.
always going to be dips in the equity curve, that's normal, but is it over time in a nice trajectory going up? That's all you got to focus on. That get consistent first, and the money will start rolling as you can invest more money into it. And but again, even if you're a beginner and you mentioned this right at the beginning with the lot sizes, like if you're a beginner and you're used to trading, let's say 0.1 lot, and you did quite well, and now you're jumping up to a one standard lot, it's not going to mimic the results. You're not used to those numbers. Your whole psychology is going to be thrown off because you're seeing numbers in drawdown that you're not used to, and you're going to start making impulsive decisions. So you have to take it step by step. Don't jump from one micro lot to a to a standard lot. Just go up a little bit by bit. Take your time with it. Very
Yeah,
important to do that. Yeah.
I use we use in the rule books there are like rule of thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very good way to also, if you're a beginner trader, if you just trade 0.01 for
Mm-hmm.
every $1,000 or euros you have on your account,
Mm-hmm.
you can gain a lot of market, like a lot of market understanding. make
Yes.
your practical experience in order to learn how it goes, and you won't wreck your account right away. So
Hmm.
you can sit in those trades for long and you will be very comfortable if you just apply this rule.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what strategy, it works for every strategy. 0.01 for every 1,000.
Yeah.
So because I have also been developing like trading algorithms,
Mm.
and you are using those rule of thumbs to teach the algorithm how to place trades, because if he's gonna like grid trade, like
Hmm.
stack trade, like multiple trades and enter and enter and enter multiple positions, you don't want him to go like, yeah, put in a 2%, yeah, another 2%, and no,
Yeah.
like you're gonna just blow it. And
Absolutely.
but if you go with the rule of thumb, you're on a very conservative side, and you have very much breathing room, which means, especially for beginners,
Yeah.
you don't get so nervous, because you get nervous because you always see those numbers in relation.
Yeah.
Like, let's say I have 1K on my account balance. If I open up a trade and that trade is going up cents and €1 and then €2 and then 50 cents back and then €1 and then €2 in profit, you're not nervous about a €2.
No, absolutely not.
But if it goes up and down 200, 300, 400 in a matter of minutes, you're like sweating there. And that
Absolutely.
only
This is it.
happens because you think, okay, I'm gonna put a standard or something, or
Yeah.
you don't know what to put in there. But if you start just with that rule of thumb, 0.01
Yeah.
times every $1,000 on your account. If you have 3,000, you're gonna put 0.03.
Hmm.
Like, you're relaxed. You can gain your experience and first look at the technical side on how to put in your trade. Does it go in your favor? And you can trade like this, and you're going to
Yeah.
be comfortable seeing those numbers, because in the beginning it's all about practical experience. You need to be in there and develop market understanding to know what's going on. You can only do that by doing it, by playing the game. You cannot
Yeah.
stand outside, read a dozen of books, and expect to become a trader like that. That's not going to work. You need to be in there.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. This is it, risk management, right? And I absolutely agree with what you said. Like I do a similar approach, I never put my full risk tolerance in one position because when I first see the opportunity and I'm like, okay, this is looking good, I get in only with a quarter of my risk tolerance while I'm happy. And if it doesn't work out and I'm like, because it's still quite early on in the trade, okay, I only either lose a quarter or I get out early before it even hits my stop. If it starts going a bit better, I see more, buyers entering or whatever, or I start seeing more confluences, add on another quarter. And you see what I mean? Like these are more advanced risk management techniques, but they absolutely work and they keep you more
mm,
calm, because never risk your full whatever your risk tolerance is. Say it's 2% of your account. Never risk the full 2%. I mean, at least for me, I would never like risk the full amount on just one trade. Obviously, with swing traders, I can see that you have that bigger kind of breathing room, so it's not that. But yeah, absolutely fantastic advice there. And I think anyone watching really, get a notepad, jot that down. Alexander really did give amazing advice there. Couldn't
yeah,
agree
thank you.
more. I do want to move on really quickly. I know this is getting a bit longer than we expected. Um, I want to talk about the future of trading really quickly. Okay, so I think we're in a very interesting time right now in the world, especially for traders as well. Never before have we had an emergence of technology such as AI that is technically capable, theoretically, of you know beating the market, so to speak, right? They can be better than any other trade because they're so an AI can learn as it adapts and can evolve, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard coded like X. If X happens, then do Y or something like old traditional code. It can move and be fluid and evolve. And I guess that opens up two doors. On one side, are the markets going to change so drastically as AI becomes the norm, right? Are chart patterns going to start looking completely different? Are these setups going to be a thing of the past, and you have to start looking for whole new setups and a whole new kind of dynamic to the market? Or is it going to actually make it more predictable, the market? there's two ways you can look at it. What are your thoughts with AI and the future for retail traders?
I mean, that's a very interesting topic. And I think, as you said, it opens up two doors. For me personally, it's like if you don't jump on the train, you will get left out, and you need to adapt. Especially now, like over all these years that I've been trading, I noticed I needed to modify my strategy in order to keep the edge or have a bigger edge.
Yeah,
Modify it somewhere, make it better here, make it better there, in order to keep the edge. Now, the competition probably is going to be stronger and stronger because everybody is going to have access to those tools. For right now, it's more like you need to really understand programming in order to take advantage of it. Because if you're just going to ask ChatGPT to code you that profitable bot, all that, he's not going to code you that profitable bot and
no,
serve it on a silver platter. It's not going to code you that profitable bot that's going to be profitable for three half a year. Like it's not going to happen because you don't even understand those lines of code. You don't even know what's going on there. And in the end, you have a lot of YouTube videos where people did that. Then they're going to show this example where it worked. But if you're just going to let it run for a month or even less, it's going to just do a lot of mistakes. There is
yeah,
a lot of mistakes in code. But when it comes to the future, definitely, I think AI is going to outperform everything because it's just going to be more clever and more clever. It's it's just going to be yeah, it's just gonna happen like
yeah,
that it's gonna be too good. Like, but if everyone can access that, then there's gonna be a shift because we have to also understand why are brokers there.
yeah,
Brokers and banks are working in those markets with their algorithms. Why? Because they make money.
yeah,
Why are companies made? Because to make money.
yeah,
So that's the main objective. Once retail can get their hands on something that can beat the competition or be on par,
mm,
the business model is not gonna be there anymore.
yeah,
Like so, so it's gonna be more difficult for those. Like more brokers are gonna die out because of that, and
yeah,
maybe there's gonna be a transition somewhere. But I think in general, you will need to jump on the train. It doesn't matter which industry, by the way.
yeah,
It can be trading, it can be whatever. You need to learn what's going on there and how you can make use of it and take advantage of it.
yeah,
It doesn't matter if you sell a course or because these information you give out right now, they might be outdated in 3 years because the competition is so much stronger, so
yeah,
much better, because they just use AI tools that are outperforming you in every
mm,
category. So you can't just sit there, click the button, and think it will magically make you money for the
yeah,
rest of your life.
yeah.
The
You have to
technology
adapt.
and all, yeah, it's moving so fast, it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
what just happened in the last 2 years,
yeah,
oh my God, like, and I don't know what's gonna happen like in the next 5 years, but I know AI is gonna be more clever, more intelligent, and there's gonna be layers and layers. We will need, as normal people, we will need to grasp the concept, to understand and grasp the concept of what's
yeah,
going on there and take advantage of it somehow in order to capitalize on it. And
yeah,
everyone can do that. For everyone, that door is open. Most people obviously won't use it because they are just on the lazy side and they are consumers.
yeah,
Just a fraction of the people are producers. But I think that's a very interesting thing that is going on. And especially in trading, if you are in that niche, you have an edge in front of so many people because you are already in that space. Just learn it, just learn
yeah,
how to make use of it. But also that's very dangerous right now. It's very dangerous because a lot of people are using that AI word as clickbait to,
yes.
yeah,
When
as
it's not really
clickbait to,
AI.
I
Yeah,
have the holy grail, you
yeah,
better buy that.
yeah.
But then
If
it's
you see an
just like
advert, sorry,
like
Karen.
look, I have used I have developed my trading algorithm and my dashboard, and my programmer, he also used AI in order to program and
Hmm.
make him help
Yeah,
to
yeah,
program it.
yeah.
So I basically can talk, can market my product as
It's
an AI
AI.
product, new AI cutting edge technology. But basically, he was just programming it,
Yeah,
and he was checking if the bot is doing everything correctly, if the AI model is putting the code there correctly. He is back testing it, he's live testing it. So he basically did that. But that's not like, oh, it did it all by its own or something. Like, you still need to feed the AI the ideas, you know?
yeah,
Like, you still need to prompt, you still need to know, okay, what is the revolutionary thing that I'm gonna ask AI for me to do?
yeah,
That's the thing. It's more the prompt thing that is the where the genius is behind right now. You
yeah,
need to know how to talk to that thing in order to develop something great. And if you will find a way to do that, this is where it can get really interesting. But you can use whatever tool I will develop. I can call it the next AI cutting technology, put a price on it, $1,000, $5,000, and people will buy it because it's AI. Yeah.
hmm
So it has to be good. There is a lot of shit produced with that thing because people don't know like how to read code. They
yeah,
are not programmers. They don't know. And then they just let it run. Yeah, whatever. It's good enough. I'm gonna sell it.
yeah. Well, they
You
don't
just
care,
need
do
some
they?
good.
Yeah,
That's the sad world we live in
yeah,
because selling the product doesn't mean the product is good and has to be good.
yeah.
In fact, you can have a shitty product. You need good marketers to
Mm,
sell it. And if you have a bunch of very good influencers that have 100K, 200K, 300K followers, and they will sell your product, they can sell everything. They just put that AI in the caption and talk about it real quick that this is AI cutting edge technology. People will buy it because people trust that person and not the
yeah,
product. They don't know
yeah.
anything about the product. If that person that I trust says it's legit, it's nice, I'm going to buy it. So
Absolutely.
it's all about leverage
Yeah,
nowadays. And marketing a product, again, like, it's not about the product, doesn't has to be good.
yeah.
And just putting that AI stamp won't make it better or genius.
No.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying. A lot of stuff is stamped with AI when it really isn't. And I personally, right now, I don't think AI is at the point where it could beat the market, so to speak, right? I think it can definitely be used as a tool to assist you in, but I still think there's a human element to the market. However, at the speed AI is growing, I do think, yeah, it's only a matter of time before there is an AI algorithm or tool or bot or whatever name you want to call it that can just be on a market, on let's say gold or whichever instrument, analyze it on every time frame, analyze every
Mm,
bit of information there is, and make strategic decisions, enter, exits, everything, and could
yes.
probably do it. I think that will exist at some point. Maybe it already does to the point, but not for the retail trade, as far as I'm aware. I don't think anything like that exists.
I mean, you have to think about also from that perspective. It's very controversial. The
Yeah.
thing is, if you have such a thing, if you have every possibility in there coded in that thing, then it has like tens of thousands lines of coding. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's not going to sell out for 299 first of all.
Hell no. It will probably never be put for sale. Not for the
Yes,
retail market. I
and
doubt it.
if then it's a very very expensive product if it's a real money making machine. And I can also tell you one thing, there is no such a thing right now
No,
in the
absolutely
retail
not.
market. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody is going to tell, yeah, no, I have that product or I saw it because that guy has it. I don't believe
No.
you. Doesn't matter what you show me. If you tell me that you have a bot that is just making you money without touching anything,
Mm-hmm.
because, first of all, maybe you're in a marketing scheme where the bot works for 2 months or 3 months and then there's gonna blow all the accounts of the customers.
Yep.
This might be a possibility, but you believe it with that effect that you talk about
Yep.
because for 1 month it worked and you see your money grow. So, of course, it's working. You have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going to say, no, Alexander is talking bullshit. Okay. But that's the one possibility. It's a marketing scheme. Second of all, banks do use algorithms themselves, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they also have trading desks.
Yeah.
And who is working at those trading desks?
Human beings. Yeah.
Human beings who manage those algorithms.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's not a set and forget thing.
Never.
They
No.
make, excuse my language, fuck tons of money in the markets,
Yeah.
but they have highly capable people who are managing those algorithms, especially in those very stressful situations, to
Mm-hmm.
see if this thing is actually doing everything correctly. And they don't even, they are not even having just one person checking it. They have different layers
Mm-hmm.
of risk management people where it gets passed on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Check it again for me, fact check it again for me, and the next one is going to check it because
Yeah.
they are managing such large amounts of money they can't afford to make a mistake.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of people checking that thing, that automation, that robot, that algorithm, if it is actually doing everything correctly, if everything
Yeah.
is fine. And yeah, so they manage it. So if you have your own thing developed, like I developed my own trading robot, I have to manage it. I
Of
cannot
course.
set and
Yeah.
forget and I'm gonna sit on a beach all year and just gonna let it run. I backtested it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like if I backtested for 5 years, there are like one, two, or maybe three instances in those 5 years where a big equity drop can like appear because there's some crazy event happening that never happened before, and those
Yeah.
events will happen again,
Yeah.
but it's going to always have a different magnitude. You don't know what magnitude the next earthquake will have. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Everyone's talking about the financial crisis, everyone's talking about World War III. We don't know when it's going to happen, we don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, like, most probably it is, but you don't
Yeah.
know when. And you don't know how your algorithm is going to perform there because maybe it's going to have server issues. You don't know.
Yeah. It's true. It's
Maybe they're
absolutely
going to
true.
cut out internet, and what then? And you're sitting in open trades.
Yeah, we can kiss your money goodbye then. Yeah.
But if you think like that, you always have to put in a risk in order to gain
Yeah.
something in
Yeah.
life. Otherwise, you can just lock yourself in a cupboard under the bed and never go out and say, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
will be. But you need, no matter what we are doing in life, we need to take a step forward, take that risk. No
Yeah.
matter if you go in that relationship, if you start to learn trading, yes, trading is risky. It's a speculative market,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also make money there and you can make money for a living if you develop the system, if you have that system, if you stick to it, if you are very disciplined, if you have willpower. It's definitely possible. But there is no, I don't believe in this magical, yeah, I'm going to press that button and I'm going to open up that funded account and I'm going to be 4 months, I calculated, and it's going to make me that millionaire. Like, show me that guy.
Yeah. Look, maybe
Show
they
me that guy,
exist.
and he's not on YouTube
We don't
because
know. But I
because
doubt
affiliate, you know?
look, if someone has created anything close to that, even does 50% of what you said, there's no way they're gonna either sell that or be public about it. They're gonna be very look, if I developed something I could do that, I would not be on YouTube telling people, hey, you can buy it for X amount of dollars. Absolutely no.
Yeah,
You know,
but okay.
it's
It's like look, I was trading for like I'm trading for a living for 4 years, a little bit
yeah.
more, and in the first 2 years I was trading on my own. Like I
Mm,
didn't bother doing all this. Like I didn't do any marketing really. Like I was really focusing. But you know what? It's like it's kind of boring.
yeah.
Because like in life, you want to give your life, I want to give my life some sense. I
Yeah.
was a teacher. I was feeling that impact I have on children.
Mm.
If you just stare there at the chart, and I, by the way, the system back then also, it was like half an hour and I'm done every day.
Mm.
What I'm gonna do with the rest of my day?
Mm.
So if you have that, if you make your money and you're sitting there and like I want to have an impact.
Yeah.
I want to do something where I will get acknowledged for the things that I do. And if it's helping somebody also to grow and
Yeah.
change their life to the positive, it's not this bullshit marketing talk. Like it
No.
really makes me happy. It
Yeah.
re- I get so many emails and messages where people tell me like, "Oh my God, like look, Alex, this is how much I profited. I can't believe I can do this. You really helped me on this and you changed my life. I can pay off my debt or something or a part of
Yeah.
it." It like really it gives you this real feeling of, look, you created something special and you really have a positive impact. And
Yeah.
that I'm going to tell you that feels way better than just sitting there making your money and then drinking your coffee alone in a coffee shop. It's
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you you can get burned out and depressed fast
Yeah.
because you okay, that is it. No, like for me, I strive for more. I
Yeah.
really want to. I know, especially if you think you have that gift that something is in you that you have to share.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep pushing, and I love it, and it gives me energy. It's not that I'm burning out because I'm putting in more hours into that. I just also love it to do
Yeah.
that.
Well,
I
it feels
share.
good, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
that's why I talk so much.
people drop off when they retire and don't do anything. That's a few years and they're usually gone, and it's because they don't do anything. All of a sudden, you have to. We're, at the end of the day, human beings, we are animals, and like with any animal, we've got to have a purpose. We've got to We're not designed just to sit there in front of a TV and do nothing all day. Uh, as great as that might sound to some people who got very busy lives, or very quickly you'll deteriorate. You just
Yeah.
you mentally and physically you'll deteriorate because you have no purpose. So absolutely, and like you said, if your setup takes 30 minutes a day or whatever it might be, the hell do you do for the rest of the day? You got to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, like think
Yeah,
about it. If you really trade for a living, and because I had those moments, and I thought like okay, like, and then you can play video games. I don't know,
yeah,
but also your friends, they also have limited time, but you have so much. And then I started to develop new hobbies and stuff. Then you go to sports, but if you go to sports, you also invest like maybe half an hour, 1 hour a day. And then what? Like, you sit there and nothing. And I was staring at the wall and I was thinking like, what can I do? Like this is not it to fulfill me.
mm,
Just the money component, it's not it. So creating an impact for me is very important. That's why I was doing all the things before trading. I was doing them because of that. Like because I always had that desire of changing the world somehow to the better, even if it's a little bit, even if
yeah,
it's just one life that I can change another life. Like it gives me a lot back and it makes me go through life way better. I
yeah,
can enjoy the small things way better if I know I have something that is good, that is of value, that is not a fucking scam product, and I can really stand by it.
yeah,
I'm selling it with passion and I want to sell it then
yeah, yeah. You
because I
you put
also
a lot of
believe,
effort into it, and you like the
yes,
results that people get, and
yes, and I want to get rewarded in a financial way, but I love the component of if somebody says that it changed their life to the better.
absolutely,
This is what I really love. Like this is where it all makes sense then in the
yeah,
end.
amazing.
But yeah,
Yeah. Alexander, I think we're going to leave it there. I think that's a great place to end it. That was a very wholesome moment there. And I absolutely agree. I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. The time has just flown by because I've
yeah,
been
I don't
so
even
into
know.
this talk.
Holy shit. Yeah, I see. One and
Incredible.
a half hours. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I
That's
thought
like
it
one
would
of
be.
those. That's like one of those Diary of a CEO podcasts. Yeah.
I thought it would be half an hour, and we've tripled it. But that just shows, when the conversation is great, and there's so much more to talk to. That's the crazy part. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do it again at some point. Alexander, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you again for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Sami. And yeah, see you next time. I wish you happy trading.
Thank you. You too. You too. Absolutely. It's been great.
All
Thank
right.
you. And guys, that was it for this podcast here, Ola Trader Stories. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure you've learned a huge amount of stuff. That Alexander shared, a man full of knowledge in the markets, and certainly someone will definitely be having back on. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe, the notification bell, leave a comment, share, all that good stuff, because it always helps out. And yeah, we'll be back with more traders from all around the world sharing stories. So once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.